Hey YouTube, Brian here from LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel. And in this video, the Amazing Spider-Man number 82 review. So finally, after several issues, we get a full Peter Parker story. As we've discussed in previous issues, Ben Reilly has kind of taken over the mantle of Spider-Man. Peter Parker has been injured and knocked out in the hospital in a coma. But with the help of Aunt May and Doc Ock, he is now out of the coma and on his way to recovering, but still nowhere near 100%. So, in this issue, that is story by Saldin Ahmed and art by Jorge Fornes. I apologize. I'm sure I butchered both of those names. Um, but we get like I said, a full Peter Parker Spider-Man story. He is being moved to a new room, and because he's out of ICU, he's, like I said, no longer in a coma, and so they're moving him to a different unit in the hospital. And he gets there, and he's got a roommate now, and then within a couple seconds of minutes of him being there, the roommate is moved out. Um, Mary Jane Mary Jane then comes in to see him, and he's still, Peter Parker tries to sit up, and he's still in a lot of pain and discomfort, and just overall not feeling well still. And then the woman, the wife of the roommate who had been moved, comes in and is looking for her husband, and they're saying, he's not on the list. We're not sure where he is. So there's something going on. And Peter, like I said, is in and out of sleep. He's in rough shape and just trying to get his rest. And then we have this strange-looking guy. I guess he is supposed to work at the hospital. Comes in and says, visiting hours are over, and that Mary Jane needs to leave, and that she said, hey, it's not 8 p.m. yet. What's going on? He said, oh, there's some certain special circumstance that you need to leave. So Mary Jane says, okay, she tells Peter, let me go figure out what's going on. And she leaves. And then there's another woman that comes now wheeled into his room as Peter's new roommate. And then again, the same strange looking guy from the hospital comes in, and the woman claims that she's supposed to be discharged within a few hours, and her son's going to come pick her up. And this the hospital worker wheels her off. So Peter definitely gets a sense that something's going on, something's not right. And he actually even mentions it to the worker, and then the worker comes in and has his sights set on Peter, and basically says, now it's your time to come with me, just like he said to the two other previous patients. And Peter's like, nope, I'm not going to have any of this. And then he has upped his dosage of medication, and kind of takes Peter out, makes him sleepy. You can see the panels. He goes kind of dark, and then he's being Peter wakes up again, and now he's being wheeled down to some basement of the hospital. So obviously he knows something's going on. And then it's revealed that the hospital worker basically says is some type of creature, and says, now I can show you my true shape in the dark. And then he basically, you see a bunch of bones and body parts. So it's obviously he's been taking patients to feed on them, and that he needs the darkness, and the light basically causes him, to go back into human form. And so, the light affects him. And Mary Jane pops in. She overhears this and says, well, good. Because now she brings out her camera and starts flashing, using the flash and the flashlight. And it causes the creature to basically start to burn up. But the creature has enough wits about him to knock Mary Jane's phone out of her hand, and then off they go in a little chase. And she's able to find a weapon, and she's able to find a room with a bunch of lights, and she's able to turn on the lights and basically incinerate the creature. I kind of see that here. He goes up in flames, and then he basically burns to a pile of ash. And so, and Peter's excited that she's taking care of it. He's up out of bed, and then he passes out and falls over. And then we cut to the sewers in Manhattan, beneath Manhattan, and the Daughters of the Dragon are on a mission now, another mission for Beyond, and they basically have some back and forth conversation that they, said they wouldn't take any more missions with them, but they're out because I guess the pay was too good, and they're tracking something, and then in pops the lizard. And that's where the story ends. So this book, although I'm glad we finally get a Peter story, a full Peter Parker story, this is really just a throwaway issue. What's the likelihood? Yeah, I get it. We're in the comic book world. Crazy things happen to Peter Parker. He's been to space. He has an alien costume. He's made a deal with the devil. All kinds of craziness, right? But what are the chances that he's in a hospital now where there's some strange creature that's eating patients, and it happens to be, his hospital? The story was just so far-fetched, and just a waste. I don't even know why, I had to pay full price for this. Really just not a very good story. Doesn't move the Beyond, story arc along at any point. Peter's obviously not getting any better. We don't know anything about, obviously he's moved from ICU to a different unit, but I didn't understand the purpose of this, of this issue. It just is really just a bad story, a throwaway. And we just had, coming off of two, dot stories where they were kind of non-Peter Parker stories. They were side stories. So out of the last 6 issues, we've really only had 2, or 5 issues. We've had 2 that have been full storylines. The others are really just side stories, and this is certainly just a throwaway. So really not happy with this. And I think I did read today, I think it's issue 92 or 93 of the series, that Ben Reilly and Peter finally, Peter's back to health and they have it out. There's some type of big battle, which I'm assuming is the end of Ben Reilly's run, taking over the mantle for Peter Parker. But if that's issue 92 or 93, we're at issue 82. So we have, 10 or 11 issues before we get to that point. So I'm really going to be interested to see what they do. Are we just going to have 10 issues of muddled story and crap like we've had in the 3 out of the last 5, or are they going to really move the story forward? All right, they introduced a lizard in the last page of this issue, but other than that, it was really a bad storyline. Although I did like the storyline with from last issue or 2 issues ago with Aunt May and Doc Ock, but I think that was just, I'm assuming, I've never read that storyline when they were, romantically involved. So I like that because I know of it, but I've never really read it. But I'm sure for people that have read that storyline, that issue may have not been that, intriguing or interesting. So a real bad Amazing Spider-Man. This is really, the other storylines I've been dealing with, this one was really just, I don't even know what the purpose of this book was. We could have totally just skipped this issue or storyline. So, and I think this is really the first issue that in the new storyline, new creative team that I just don't understand what they're doing here. So you have a marquee character, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, big movie that was just out, that's out now, making, millions of dollars, and you throw this crap at us and we pay, $4 for crap. I might send this comic to Whack Comics and see if maybe they can make a hat or a brooch or something, a pterodactyl or something out of it. I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. If you've read this, what did you think of the story? Did you like it? You didn't like it? What do you think overall? What would be your rating? What are we, about 8 issues into the new run? What are you thinking so far of the new creative team? I do not enjoy the inconsistencies. We've had a couple different writers, a couple different artists, and it's kind of been all over the place. So let me know what you think. And I am, Christmas has taken over our house, so I'm in a kind of a new setup here, temporary setup until things get back to normal after the holidays. So I'm sitting in my kitchen and reviewing this book. So, but love to hear your comments. What are you thinking of the overall Spider-Man story, or this particular issue 82? Not a very good. Thumbs down for me. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody taking their time to watch my channel. And we'll be back soon with a next issue, Amazing Spider-Man 83 in the review. Soon. Thanks.